Morning. You know, there was a time during sharing time that we would invite the children to come forward. So there's no children, so today I invite all dogs in the congregation to come forward. Oh, maybe. Anyway, faithful Bella is here. A couple of weeks ago, Jane and I were walking up in the experimental farm. And along the road trotting up were 5 border collies trotting towards us with their handler. So I engaged with the handler and tried to find out some information about what was happening. And he told me that the border collies had been around the central experimental farm for years. And their main purpose was to protect the crops. Crops had been severely damaged by Canada geese for a long time. Management at the farm had used various control devices, scarecrows, human patrols, sounding devices. None of it worked, hence enter the border collie. So the plan was for the collies to sneak up on the geese as they were sitting there, several of them, and then suddenly charge out from amongst the crops and scare the heck out of these guys. Get rid of them. Apparently these thousands of geese would take off and go to another part of the farm where the border collies would jump into the car, drive over this part. Same thing would happen. So after several sessions, the geese finally figured out this wasn't a good place to be, and hence stopped their chewing of the crops. The crops initially would be growing 4 or 5 inches high. Geese would come along, rip the crops out by the roots, kill the plant, and the researchers who were doing these work on this 400 hectares of land, their research would be totally destroyed. The Bible has not always been kind to dogs. Bella, I'm sorry. Psalms 22 states, "A cry of anguish, a gang of evil men is around me. Like a pack of dogs, they close in on me. They tear at my hands and at my feet." And in Matthew 7:6, "Do not give what is holy to dogs. They will only turn on you and attack you." Now, while it's just a metaphor that they use dogs, it's still, to me, I hate to be a critic of the Bible, but dogs are given a bad rap. This is probably because at that time, dogs were not domesticated that much and served a very limited purpose at the time of the Bible writings. Several years ago, I had the good fortune with my family to visit New Zealand. And we visited a farm, a sheep farm. I see that the sheep were mentioned today in the prelude. Thank you very much for that. Anyway, at the sheep farm, there were 2 dogs there. There was a veteran dog with a handler and a new dog learning the ropes of how to herd sheep. So they got the sheep together and herded them into a pen, except for one sheep, who was the responsibility of the new dog. The new dog missed the sheep. Everybody was in the pen, and this sheep, suddenly realizing his newfound freedom, took off down the field. Now, he could tell the experienced dog was most upset at this. This never happens. This is a great humiliation. And the veteran dog was just waiting for the signal from the handler to go and get this sheep. Sure enough, the handler gives the signal. The sheep is running down the field. The collie comes up beside the sheep, going full speed, looks at the sheep, and suddenly just rolls underneath the sheep's feet. They both go head over tea kettle and end up in an upright position looking at each other. I see a tail wagging here, liking this story. They're looking at each other, and of course the sheep realizes his position and beetles back towards the herd. And the dog collie comes back, sits down behind the handler very proudly with a mouthful of wool. See, the handler was not happy at that. In the end, we're very fortunate to have the evolution of dogs coming from that situation they had during biblical times to the wonderful pets, healers, protectors that we have today. Thank God for dogs.